I have one. Did you guys notice Monty and Isaac somehow got the memo? They have the same background, the same black shirt.
Oh, that was totally not planned. That was totally not planned.
You guys are lying. You know, you're over there messaging each other. Okay, we're going to go with a gray background, plain black shirt. Let's match today.
Oh, that was totally not planned, but that is really funny. Okay, so
this actually is my standard. He copied me.
No,
I
wait,
see how Isaac is.
It's not the same. Okay, Monty's is they're different. This is I can touch mine.
Isaac, the point that you think you need to explain yourself.
I can reach into the abyss.
Oh my gosh! All right, let's get serious again. Scott, thanks for the nickel show. Okay. I'll start with.
This is a new definition to hangouts today.
I'll start with ridiculous stories. I'll recap the one that was in the email. So we're working with a company. They do M&A, mergers and acquisitions, and we're looking for companies, or we're looking for business owners at specific companies just to see if they want to sell. And so the guy that we're working with, he's an older gentleman, pretty dry sense of humor. And so we send the message to a business owner and we're like, hey, we're looking to acquire a company like this. Are you like at all interested in selling your company? Because he'd been in business for quite a while. And then his reply was literally, go F yourself. And I was like, oh, I was trying to be so polite. Like, isn't it like every business owner's dream to either just get rich or sell? And so what I was like, oh, dang. And it was one of my first like mean responses. So I was like, oh, what's going to happen? And I wasn't sure what to do. And then this client's pretty active on their own account. He sees the reply and he shoots me an email and says, tell him, can you reply with, I wish I could. So, and I was just like, let's not go with that reply just in case. So we thanked this guy for his time, archived the thread, and then literally like 3 days later, he sends a message saying, just kidding. I'm interested in selling. Can we have a conversation? So I'm guessing he had like a really bad day.
You didn't reply with go F yourself?
Nope. I decided to be above bar, thanked him for his time. And then he sent his email and set up a call. I don't know if they ended up selling or not, but yeah, so, I think my lesson there was you can be snarky, but be above the bar.
Yeah, because then you don't get to say, show me the money. So.
Yes. And also keeping it PG on LinkedIn, I feel like is just good practice. So there you go. All right. I've got a couple others, but who's next? I just feel like Scott has got to have some kind of a story. I mean,
I loved reaching out to a former employer and reminding them that their marketing intern du jour was not using hashtags correctly because they had written hashtag.
Maybe that was talk to text fail or something.
Oh, that reminds me.
That's hilarious. You need to, did you screenshot that? Oh, good.
Nice.
That I did.
Nice.
Did you do a post on LinkedIn about that? Hey guys, if you're going to use hashtags, make sure you use them the right way. It's not, don't spell hashtag out. It's actually a symbol. Like that would be a hilarious.
I feel a video coming on, like a fun video.
Like we've got a great relationship, so I didn't want to, shame them. But so help me. I'm like, that's not how you do hashtags.
No.
He wrote hashtag out. Like
that's not the first time I've seen that.
The intern can't. I mean, like interns are usually older. Tracy, you're muted.
The word hashtag, the symbol hashtag, the word that they were trying to key.
Nice.
There's a national museum in Oklahoma that the security, it's a cowboy museum, and you can search it. And on Twitter, the security guard, they told him, hey, also send out tweets. And so he sent out his first one, and he was saying, I'm getting help from my nephew. And he'd end it hashtag cowboy, and he'd write out the word hashtag, and he says, oh, the next tweet, my grandson said I'm doing it wrong. But you know what? He kept, even though he finally figured out, everybody's sort of like hashtag, that's how he became known. And he blew up.
It was glorious. It really truly was. I followed the whole journey.
Yes,
it was awesome.
It was awesome, man.
That's funny. Sometimes mistakes can be a good thing.
You know which one I'm talking about, then, right? Yeah, it happened about a year ago, COVID, and he just, it was a cute journey. He was featured in news articles. He was just a normal guy. He was a cowboy, Oklahoma guy, and he was learning how to use Twitter. One time, we were working. No, we were working. Remember?
That's exactly what I thought when you said it too.
We were working with a gal, and we were talking to somebody who just happened to. They had like a in real life mutual friend, and it was with a really big account, like a big account. It was a good fit. I'm pretty sure like they're publicly traded, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a win. This is so going to be a win. And then the person that we're talking to brings up that they have a mutual in real life friend. And then I mention the like, tell her hi, or tell him hi, but I didn't really look into it because it was one of those names that could go either way. And so this person was like, you're not who I think you are. It's like, I'll go tell him. And it was before the gender thing got big. It was just like straight up made the wrong assumption. So keep in mind that can get you in trouble too.
Are you talking like Pat from Saturday Night Live?
Exactly. Yeah, it was one of those names where I should have found them. I actually, moving forward, like you just do that. Like you try to find their picture or just get yourself out of that situation. Yep. After that, the conversation fizzled out, just so you know. So, lesson learned. Who else has one? Well, fine. I've got another one. Jeez, am I the only one who sucks here? We're working with a company they're wanting to target food, specifically the food industry. So we have gone through and saved like all of the food companies in America. We're only looking for people within food, and somehow a cosmetic company gets saved into the mix, and they slipped through the cracks, and we ended up talking to someone at this cosmetic company, and by some freak chance, it's like a perfect fit, the product. So they're about to close the deal, and it's a multi-million-dollar deal. And so it was an accident, and usually that bites you in the butt, but that was a good accident. So kind of one of those weird one-offs. I don't suggest making accidents, but sometimes they make you a few $1 million. Hashtag the cowboy. Anybody else have any good stories? No.
I got tons of stories, but what type of stories do you want?
I want to keep it in the channel of being on LinkedIn. You ever send someone a message and okay, I've got another one. So we're doing the 5-day challenge. This is like last fall, and I messaged this guy, and he's like, he does stuff on LinkedIn, and the message, in my opinion, wasn't spammy. It's just a friendly invite. See if he wants to participate. I didn't know him in person. He's like, stop spamming me. And I was like, oh, Like you always want to take that with a grain of salt. So then I look him up a little bit farther, and he's got like an ebook on Amazon. Okay, keep in mind like a Kindle book, and it's like several $100s for a digital book. And I was like, well, as long as we're semi-throwing punches, I said, so why is your digital book a couple $100? It must be awesome. And then he's like, yeah. He goes, my editors, whoever gave him advice, said that it'd be better to price it really high, thinking that they'd sell more. And so, but my point is, it went from him going, you are a jerk face spammer, to, yeah, if I ever am going to do a book again, send me some people you know.
My editor said, let's make sure we don't sell any of these.
Yes. Yep. Nice guy. I think sometimes you just catch people at the wrong day. You just don't know. You don't know what they're going through that day.
And so the moral of the story, it's not you, it's them.
Well, no, I'm sure most of the time it's me. You just try to be polite and quick on your toes, and maybe a little bit funny, and you can get out of a problem. That's all it is.
Some of my best clients have come from telling them they're wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, no. Did you know that's not how you do that?
Nope.
Has anybody talked to you about this? That's kind of an issue. They're like, oh, we never noticed that was an issue before. You're welcome.
Tracy is a merchant
Next time
of
it
time
costs you money.
and knowledge. Yeah, next time it costs you money. That's right. That's right. Yo, have you ever had an employee send the wrong message? Do I need to pause the recording?
And that's why Twitter is offering that service you pay for.
Nice.
Well, we used to employ folks in India and Pakistan, and they would mess things up.
Yeah.
We use systems now instead, so I mess things up instead of them. I'm kidding. I don't mess things up. But seriously, they could mess things up by copy and pasting the wrong message in over here and not understanding the context of what they're doing.
Yeah. There have been a couple times, oh Lord, I should probably pause this. Once or twice, very few times over the years, when we used to use the sales nav inbox before you could edit anything. You still can't edit in the sales nav inbox. If we are to minimize like messaging errors, we just bookmark the reply documentation in the same Chrome instance. So it's like you go to LinkedIn, you're there, you jump over to a tab, it's bookmarked. So the risk is minimal, but there are times when you have to make it clear that you need to put in a company name or someone's name. And there was one time where I had a person forget to swap out the name with our code for the name. It's manual, totally manual. And in Sales Nav, you can't go in and edit it. So that person stopped doing that job forever, and I had to deal with it.
My favorite along that line is I craft a lot of messaging for my clients. And so I will write copy, and it'll be sort of evergreen. And so there's always, dates or places or names that have to be updated. And I highlight them in yellow and I make the text red because
yes, I do the same exact thing. Literally.
Editing, right?
Literally.
And then they turn it around and they send it out with the red lettering and the yellow highlighting. I'm like, you're supposed to update that part.
Oops.
That's
your job. They need an implementation team. They need an enablement team.
Insert link here.
Right.
Yes.
That, right?
How about somebody, you send an email, there's a group email, and then you reply only to the specific person that needs to see it, and you're hoping they have enough sense not to forward that email, and so they go ahead and forward send a reply back to you, but to everybody at the same time, and you're like, oh, that wasn't meant to go out to everybody, just you.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of legal companies and bigger companies have those few sentences at the bottom where it's like, if you mess this up, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, my proposals have in big bold letters a confidentiality clause that begins with discretion is critical to my success and yours.
Wow.
So tell your friends that I'm more expensive than what you're paying. Have you ever gotten a recommendation from someone that you really love the person, but the recommendation is like them promoting themselves?
No.
Has that not
Yes,
happened?
I know what you mean.
And so I'm like, I can accept it, I can reject it, or like request a revision. If I accept it, I've got a blatant, stupid, self-promoting recommendation right at the top of all my recommendations. Or if I do a revision request, I have to give them some kind of feedback to make sure that, yeah, that's happened a couple
What
times.
if you just reply like, was this the one you wanted me to write for you, or can you write one for me now?
Oh yeah, that's good. You have to be in someone's inner circle to address it like that. But yep. Oh
You were
yeah.
talking about snarky?
Snarky. Mm-hmm.
Can you accept it and not show it? Can you accept it and not display it?
I think you can actually, right? Yeah. But then it's like, I want the recommendation, you know?
Well, but
Yeah.
but the relationship with that person would still
That's
exist.
true. That's true.
You know, as
Look at that.
opposed-
Mike has EQ for days. Emotional intelligence.
Well,
It's
but
happened to
isn't
me.
LinkedIn still-
Okay.
But isn't it where doesn't LinkedIn just show the two most recent? You can't really
You can't
Can't
sort
order 'em,
the
yeah.
order of them, right?
right. You can just, I think you can just hide them from being
On or
public.
off. Yeah, not the order.
Right. And so I have a bunch of recommendations that aren't shown so that I can show the two that I think are best at the top.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea, Scott. It's a good idea. It'd be cool. You should, while you're talking to the dev team, Scott, can you just put in another feature request to be able to do that? That's all. Thanks.
Don't I wish?
They're like, we have to take this guy serious. He's on Twitter right now, sitting outside without a shirt on. He is not kidding around. He could go crazy. Their headquarters
Oh, there was
is in
something else I
Austin.
just found out that you can't. There's something else I just found out that you can't set the order on. You can't set the order or visibility on your certifications.
Oh
And
yeah.
so if you take a bunch of LinkedIn courses and then let them show the certificate that you completed the course, and then you go get HubSpot certified like I did last week, then it's like way down the list.
Can you change does it change if
So-
you do the date? Or do you have to like delete them all and re-add them in the right order?
That's an interesting point, because all the LinkedIn ones have like no expiration date, whereas the HubSpot ones expire in either a year or 2 years.
Have you ever been working with a client and doing content engagement on prospects posts and accidentally engaged with something that the person is really personally against, and it like ruins their personal brand? Beware.
Sounds fun.
The nice thing is
I've
you can unlike and delete everything, which is nice.
I've been logged into my client's account and thought it was my account.
Oops.
Two things. I'm logged in, I'm showing her something. I'm like, let me just fix the post for you. So I do it. And then I'm going to show her an example. And I'm like, I wanted to look someone up, and I'm like, well, that's weird. We're not connected. I know we're connected. So I can't find this person that I was trying to show her this client over in France. So I couldn't do that. And then another client forgot I was logged into his account. And I said, oh, thanks for whatever someone had posted. I was like, oh shit, that wasn't my account.
Yep.
That's an easy fix.
Yes. The different Chrome instances go a long way there.
It's the
Weird.
LinkedIn messages that you just can't fix that you send. I'm not going to admit to that here, but that's happened.
Okay.
I've seen in our world, right? You can't delete that LinkedIn message that went out to hey, well, we'll just do the simple one is dear Fred, and his name is not Fred, or dear first name, but you could very easily send something that you wish you could retract.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you ever sent a message manually, of course, and then it says like failed, and then so you're like send, and then like you look later and it's like that's happened
Many times.
Oh my gosh. And then I feel bad for the person because they're probably like, is this guy
Yeah.
like on drugs? But then the last one is, hey, sorry, it's a bug with LinkedIn. And I'm thinking, does that sound like really lame? Because it's true. But it
Always
seems
figure
like
you're
it's
mobile,
true.
because text messages do that when you're mobile, right? They'll send through multiple towers sometimes, and you'll get multiple messages. So I always figure people are mobile when that happens to me.
Oh, that's nice to know. It's good to know. There's some people assume the best. I go right towards cynical. So
Blame it on mobile if it happens. I was mobile when
I
I
mean,
said
the easiest person to blame is LinkedIn.
Technology breaks. It's a thing.
Yeah, it does. Oh man, I'm trying to rack my brain of other things that had happened over the years.
What I always love, because especially with events, we're always trying to tag organizations, event locations, and y'all know some have better tags than others. And
Uh-oh.
sometimes the apps and trying to link to somebody go horribly wrong.
Uh-oh.
And you're linking the wrong organization in the wrong state, the wrong venue, because they have the same name or the same starting name, or that was their old page that they never deleted, but they changed the name, but not that one, but this one. But you have to just know that. And yeah, that's probably my biggest pet peeve. And years ago, it caused me to start creating a one-page for every event or client engagement that has everybody's tags. Like this is actually how it's all supposed to be. These are the 4 hashtags we're using across all of the channels. These are right, like this. Here's the Bible of the social media connections, because we're not accidentally tagging a venue in Arizona.
Is there any way, does anyone know any way to prevent that from happening? Because Tracy, I've had the same thing come up where like you're part of an event and then you want to like tag the other speakers or whatever, but it's like does anyone know a way to be able to copy paste that and make sure it's the same person? Is there a way? I don't think there's a way. You just have
it's
to
just ugly and awkward and fails a lot.
Yeah.
Because of course I don't know what the rules are in searching, right? Like you're trying to put an @ and start typing the name of the organization, and it gives you these recommendations that are bunk.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's
that
like,
doesn't
I
even
typed it out
match.
perfectly.
Why are you
Why
giving
isn't
me
it
this?
here?
And yeah, it's tough.
Blast you,
honestly,
Bill Gates.
That's my biggest challenge.
That's definitely a big challenge. But if that's your biggest challenge, you'll probably be all right.
Except for when I tell people that we love the something or other lodge in Arizona on accident. Right.
They're like, thanks for the free press.
Yeah. Whoops. Let's go fix that.
What else has happened? What else has happened?
I have a question for everybody if you would get to a stuck point.
Okay, give me 30 more seconds here because I feel like there might be one that needs to bubble to the surface.
Do it.
Anybody else? Michael, do you anything to share? You've been so quiet. You're muted, just so you know, but nice to know.
I'm just listening. I'm not haven't been as active on LinkedIn as you guys.
Don't do that stupid thing that Isaac did. Don't do that stupid thing.
I'm taking a lot of notes. I'm taking a lot of notes. You guys, I'm gonna owe all of you a lot for a long time.
Yep. Stitch in time, Michael. Saves 9. Here's a good one.
I can tell one from Twitter that could have just as easily happened on LinkedIn.
Do it, Scott.
So this is a lesson about not publicly calling people out on stuff when you don't have the full context. Because I was testing auto DMs. I was testing automation and testing auto DMing new followers, and I was getting phenomenal numbers because my hypothesis was that the problem wasn't auto DMs, but crappy copywriting. And so what I did was I split test about half a dozen various, creative, engaging things. And my engagement rate went up 150%.
Wow.
On my best test on my auto DM. And I had no negatives, no unfollows until one new social media consultant, some woman out of Portland who'd been doing it like 6 months, called me out publicly on Twitter and said, auto DMs are awful. You shouldn't be doing that. And blah, 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 blah. Obviously did not bother to look anything about who I was. And so I didn't rip her a new one. But I basically said, I'm a social media consultant. I've been doing this 6 years, and I look at data, I listen to data, not pundits. And my auto DMs, and I gave the data. So, and then she tried to kind of backpedal from there. And so said, well, you still shouldn't be doing it. I'm like, then don't listen to me.
Would you rather have me copy paste a message?
Yeah, but anyway, point is don't be really careful about calling someone out publicly. I generally advise against it.
Yeah, that's good advice, Scott. That's really good advice. Yeah. Have you ever been messaging someone for a client, and then the reply comes back, and you're thinking to yourself, shoot, they might know each other from before we connected on LinkedIn? I don't know. Has that ever happened to you guys? It happens here. Or if someone's just like, hey, Mike, how's it going? And I'm just like, I don't know. How is it going? Do they know each other? Like,
I get those. There's one violator in specific who has tried to use automation in a million different ways, and randomly a couple times a year I get these outsourced direct message, hey, we were looking at your profile and saw that you do marketing, insert word here, are you interested in blah 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 blah? I'm like, we have known each other for 4 years.
Yeah, that's like, that's tough.
We have planned events together and shared coffees, and I'm probably not interested in your insert word here.
I know
message.
Who you're talking about, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, yes, because it happened to me too. Love the person.
Love the person. Don't love the tactic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And honestly, there's multiple, so you might be thinking of one of them.
Word. Cool. Let's take Scott's advice and not publicly rebuke people.
How
about
I'm going to give them credit for trying new things. How's that?
There you go. Okay, one time.
True story. Name, please.
True story. I'm driving through the Midwest, driving back to Kansas City through the Midwest after visiting family. I'm in a rather small town. I'm not going to say the town. Okay, I'll just say it because there's no way they're ever going to watch this. It was Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Like, what happens is when you're driving through Sioux Falls, you blink and then you're not in Sioux Falls anymore. It's very small. And like, not exaggerating, while I'm driving through, I get, cause my wife is driving, I'm working, right? I get this connection request from a person in Sioux Falls. And I'm like, what are the chances? I'm like, I'm like, oh, is this like something crazy is about to happen? And then I'm like, hey man, blah, blah, blah. And so he anyways, piggybacking off of Tracy's story, it was fully automated. He did not respond to my message. And then I got plugged into another messaging campaign and I'm like, hey, we talked kind of, and then no response. And then he do another one. I said, can you please clean up your automation? And then I get another one. And I kind of want to block the guy, but he's also like a fellow Midwesterner. So I don't really want to block the guy.
Except you're about to get yourself blocked. Yeah.
I think that the big takeaway there is you should be using something to be able to categorize people's responses so that when you do a top of mind campaign, it's appropriate.
Yeah,
That happened.
my take on it is when people actually reply, you've got to break out of the automation.
Oh,
Yes.
And
Well,
you've got to have someone, even if it's a VA who sits there and says, hey, thanks for your note back. I'm a little swamped, right now. Let me get, whatever, some kind of, it's something that defers it until the head honcho or honcha can give a personal message.
Yep. So true. Okay. I think that's all my failures that I can remember. Monty, what did you want to say?
I'll table it for next week's conversation. I think it'll be a good one for next week.